This mic?
I
Or
think
the other
yes,
mic?
I'm playing you. That mic.
In what league?
No name league.
I don't care
Talented
about that one.
albinos. Yeah, because you're doing bad. He does this.
I have the
he
fourth,
does this. You
I
can't
have
do
the
this.
fourth most points in that league, and one of the worst records.
Right.
I think
That
I'm
happens.
0-2 when scoring 135 points.
Okay. You had bad luck about who you run up against, but to write it off because you're not doing well, shame, sir, shame. You fight for every bit of it. You happen to be playing me, and DK Metcalf started the game with a 73-yard touchdown, which felt very good.
That's not good. Yeah, you've got a lot of points there.
I think that's all I have, and you have Dallas and somebody else going today. Dallas D. Did you have
Seattle
the running back?
back?
Yeah. Charbonnet.
Walker.
He's out. Kenneth is out.
That's why I said hopefully not
the Dallas defense, which is not doing well. It's great. It's all good.
They've only let up 7. Oh yeah, welcome back to another episode of Going For It. I didn't even get the intro, and we were talking fantasy football. There's some competition or whatever between these fools.
More competition. Can you just fast forward to the fucking pick'em?
I'm getting there, dude. Jesus, I just did the goddamn intro. Jesus Christ. Craig's like, I finally participated in the pick'em I paid attention to it for once, and I did well.
Touchdown for Mike.
So, before we get started with our nonsense, our picks for this week, our shenanigans, it is time to, as we do, pay homage to last week's champion in our pick'em. And that was Mike. No, I'm just kidding. It was Craig Brooks. Craig Brooks reigned supreme. 14 times the high for the season. 14 correct picks. His reaches were not reaches this week. Did very well. I was in second place with 10 correct. Mike was in third with 9. And then Mike Spillane, who missed the Thanksgiving games because he's preoccupied with life, only had a 4, which is going to hurt him because the man in the back is coming.
I gained like 4 or 5 games on one of you, 4 on another, and like 10 on Spillane.
You did a lot. You did some work. You are now 11 points out of first place.
That's right. It's a journey.
11 wins. Sorry, 11 wins out of first place. Very doable. Very doable. The man is locked in. He is locked in. And Mike Thomas tempted the fantasy gods last week.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
So we will see what transpires. Before we get into our picks for tonight, we are recording Thursday night. Obviously, this didn't go up on Thursday morning, as it often does. So we're watching the games at various points. I'm watching hockey right now. Actually, I'm not even watching football. But before we get into that, there's no way this Aquaman movie does good, right?
No. Unfortunately not.
Yeah, like
it doesn't look good either.
It doesn't. But like, first of all, they're totally gonna kill the baby. The baby's totally gonna die, and that's gonna hurt.
I don't need any of that.
Yeah, they're totally gonna kill the baby. That baby is super dead. And like, it's just what I don't understand. Like WB's mindset of this, like, we're gonna put this out anyway, and it's like, but why?
Well, here's my thing. The superhero movie trend got overdone. We know that, right? I don't think that's news to anyone. It got overdone. DC was struggling for a while, had a few hits with Aquaman and Wonder Woman, and then figured out how to immediately fuck that up with Wonder Woman 84 and what seems to be the next Aquaman. They're choosing the wrong people to trust in. Gunn is now installed. James Gunn is now the co-CEO of the DC universe, but we have not seen any of his actual work yet. So we won't actually for another full year, I believe. I don't think we're going to see.
They just
start filming until
Superman.
March?
Superman Legacy, which sounds cool, and I trust Gunn enough. However,
David Corn Sweet.
He looks good.
He's beefy.
He looks good. I showed him to Mel last night, and she went, "Oh, I'm not as upset anymore."
No,
she was very upset.
Yeah, don't
about
be upset.
Going away from
Cavill. It was a great cast.
But where I was going with that is we also watched Blue Beetle the other night, and I thought it was actually good. Now, it did
I've heard that.
Terrible at theaters and is ripping on streaming. And we watched it the other night, and I said, I see exactly why. The theater goers are absolutely fatigued. on superhero movies. That's the thing. Barbie crushed, Super Mario Brothers crushed, a few others, not superhero. Right, the Marvels just tanked. Even the latest Ant-Man didn't do very well and had a big baddie and all that. Like, it's done. That meta is done for now. It needs to build back up. Maybe that's why James Gunn is like, yeah, I'll see you in 2025, right? So, but Aquaman still caught up in the old swing that they made a bill off of Aquaman 1, and the twofold thing of the whole cycle coming down, and that trailer looks bad. I think we're going to see a couple 100 million worldwide and it be a flop.
Yeah, and like that was my thing with Gunn too, is immediately when he came on and he was like, yeah, well, maybe we'll keep Ezra and Gal and like, but we'll also not keep Henry and Ben. And it's like, you either got to cut the cord all the way or you need to roll forward with what you got. Like, you can't do any of this halfy bullshit. And like, it honestly concerns me about Marvel, because Marvel, the big rumor is they're going to go do a time jump backwards so that they can get all the OG Avengers back. And it's like, what the fuck were the last 11 years for if you're just going to erase everything because the box office isn't doing well? Well, it's not going to do well. Like, you can bring those guys back and it's not going to do anything.
That's the thing. It's a money grab, but of the worst variety. They already money grabbed by making too many movies.
But wait, I haven't heard this rumor about Marvel doing it. I've heard other rumors of ways that they can try to bring the OG group back, but it's not the characters, it's the cast, and the cast is done with it. So unless it's just for a single movie, it's not going to be what they want.
I heard what Pat's talking about. Just rumor, though, but I heard
they're supposed to come back for Secret Wars, from what I understand.
That's been a rumor for a while.
Because that's in the plot of Secret Wars. But I read something the other day, and I can't remember where. So the internet is a nightmare. So it could be right, could be wrong, it's a rumor that they are trying to get to do a like reverse in time to start from the beginning again and essentially remake everything leading up to Avengers. And obviously it'll be different storylines and this and that. They'll probably recast everyone. It'll be a different Earth, like different multiverse, whatever. But I heard that they want to do that, and that's how they want to do, because like this round of superhero films, nobody's going to see these movies because they're like, what the fuck do I care about Captain Marvel? And I honestly heard the Marvels was good, but I just can't get into that. Like, I don't like that they changed Miss Marvel's powers. Monica Rambeau is not a draw for me. I don't care about her as a character, and Brie Larson isn't enough to get me into a movie theater. So like, she's not worth a babysitter. So sorry.
Yeah, the problem on our end is it's just impossible to get. It's not impossible, but it's so hard to get the babysitter lined up. And these movies are going to come to Disney Plus so soon that what's the point?
But aren't you guys talking? You're hitting on a point that's very interesting that I don't know if we have enough context on, but it could be fun to see what you guys think. We all got older, but somehow the generation behind us that's very basically raised in by social media was always around. Fast short form was always around. They're not going to these movies. We were when they were coming out. We were filling the theaters. We were going to each iteration, spending the $18. Is there a generational thing that's not as into the superhero movies? Like, clearly they'll still go for Super Mario Bros, right? Or was that such a...
That was a family thing.
I was about to say, is that such a zeitgeist
and it was our
family
generation
thing? True. Where we're the ones. Is this generation now of 15 to 25 basically not interested in their entertainment coming that way? That is... I wonder if that's costing hundreds of millions, because that's the expendable income, that lower bracket. Maybe it's even 15 to 29 that they're willing to throw the money at movies and things like that, music stuff. We were all there. What's your take on that? Any aspect of that we're gonna see this trend with movies where it won't change. It doesn't matter if they brought Robert Downey back. It just doesn't matter.
Mike, you can go first.
That's for sure going to happen. They've already been talking about that for a while, about how the current everybody is being trained by social media to enjoy video clips and media in like 60-second chunks. And anytime you start to get over 3 minutes, people's attention span starts to go. So telling somebody, take 2 hours, go sit in a theater, and pay a relatively high amount of money to go do that.
It is.
It's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, and the younger generations are just less interested in that type of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to change.
I don't think it is.
No.
I think we're seeing. I think, especially COVID showed like the rise of streaming and the end of movie theaters is coming. And honestly, the best thing that movie theaters I think could do is to obviously continue to target our age demographic, but like before my daughter was born, Shannon and I went to a drive-in. We went to a drive-in and watched Back to the Future, and
That's
that
cool.
was so fun. It was so fun. We were in the car, we did the radio, and like ordered popcorn and like did the whole thing. It was great. It was a super fun time, like doing special, and not necessarily drive-ins, but like special events, like must-see things. Like Oppenheimer's a must. Like I have to be able to get into the theater for that. I didn't get to do that because of my daughter.
Nor did I. And it was too fucking long, I heard.
It's very long. There are tentpole things, and I think you're going to see the double-edged sword of streaming is like everything gets made now, but everything's not worth seeing. So like it's the double-edged sword of things. And I don't know. It feels like movie theaters have been dying for decades now, and COVID really just pushed everything forward like a decade.
I've such fun memories.
The one hope for movie theaters, besides them making it more of an event, which they were able to latch onto the Open Barbie or whatever it was, they were able to latch onto certain events and make those tent poles, but making it a good experience will get people out. And maybe the weird silver lining for them is the fact that the golden age of streaming is done. It is killed. It is gone.
Dead.
So as that experience continues to get worse and worse for the consumer,
and
it's going to be harder and harder for the consumer to say, well, in 45 days, it'll be on Disney Plus. So, because you might not know if it's going to be on Disney Plus or Amazon or Netflix or something like that. So then you got to go to the movie theater.
It'll be a rubber band effect, just like we saw, but it'll take a 10-year cycle or something.
Right. It's going to take some time. I'm interested to see what happens. All of this to say, I don't think that Aquaman movie stands a chance.
No,
I am very excited.
And it's going to be bomb. It's going to just bomb.
I'm super excited to see Momoa as Lobo. I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Way more excited about that.
Him as Lobo with the new Superman, like just ready to beat the shit out of each other, sounds awesome. So give me that. I need more of that.
Is he in the Legacy one, or is that not confirmed?
It's not confirmed, but wouldn't that be a fucking treat for you to stay till the end? And James Gunn was just like, here you go.
Give us an egg. Like, he should, though, but I don't know if he will. But there should be something.
They're at the end of all the Guardians movies, and at Suicide Squad, and all the other stuff he's done. He always does a little.
DC, I don't remember if they were doing that, but obviously he's the boss now. He's the Feige, so he can do what he wants.
They were a little bit.
Okay.
Were they?
They did. I think at the end of
Shazam 2 had one.
I think at the end of Man of Steel there was one. Where he
leading into Justice League, right?
That was the Batman versus Superman. It ended with, I think they were looking at all the different.
Right.
I don't know. It's been so long, and those movies suck so much that it's taken up way too much of my brain space.
We hope for better movies, and we hope for them to be DC. A little shorter.
Yeah, I'm okay with it longer. For like, give me a director's cut stream, like stream the director's cut, but in the theater, I want something shorter.
I want the movie to be exactly as long as it needs to be, not 1 minute under and not 1 minute over.
I fucking would say that. That's a non-answer.
Because there's a lot of movies that just pack a lot of stuff in.
Yeah.
Like James Gunn's Guardians 3 felt like a 3-hour movie or a 2.5-hour movie. It's a very long movie, but it doesn't feel like it because every minute of that movie is important.
Oh, it was so good.
I'm with you there. If it's a great movie, it doesn't matter. I'm just having this problem due to a mixture of old age, being a parent, whatever it is, where like Avatar 2, Way of the Water says 3 hours, 20 minutes. The new Flowers of the Moon or whatever that I want to see with Leo and Martin says 3 hours, 20 minutes. So I'm like, guess I'm not watching that movie. I can't mentally wrap my head around just treating it like a 2 or 3 sitter like I do with shows. I can't wrap my head around it. I'm having like a psychological block. I want to watch these movies. I won't start them because I see that number and I go, I don't have it. I don't have that much in
it's
a
not
row.
in me.
It took me 6 days to watch the Zack Snyder Justice League because it was
Because
just
half the movie's in
trash.
slow motion.
And it was like 6 hours long, and
That's
I just
intense.
broke it up into a couple of different fever dreams.
It was like 4 hours plus. Like it was like 4 hours, 13 minutes or something like wild like that. I watched the whole thing, and I was like, I really did not get anything different out of this than I did out of the Whedon Justice League. And I was like, these are both not good movies.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. He added that girl singing at Aquaman with "Fuck Me Eyes." All right, great, super. I learned something here. Anyway, so that was our pop culture segment that is going to fill space because there's just not a lot of great matchups this week. This week is kind of a bummer. And we are going to start with a game that is very close at the moment, 17-14, Seahawks down in Dallas. But I took the Dallas Cowboys this week. This kind of felt like a no-brainer. Seattle's defense is not as good as Dallas's, and their offenses feel similar. So I was like, yeah, give me the good defense, I think. Craig Brooks.
I took him as well, and
reigning champ.
The game is competitive at the moment. We're recording literally while it's about to be halftime, but out the gate, Dallas was looking great, and then got stymied shockingly in the red zone on the first drive. So while we picked ahead of time and it's in, I picked Dallas. They're not as dominant in the first half that I thought, and the spread was, I think, almost 10. So I think the betting public thought things were going to get hairy here too, and maybe they break it open. Maybe they score here before the end. That sucked that CeeDee Lamb got stopped at the 2-yard line. I would like those points on my fantasy team. That is a bummer. But yeah, we'll see. If what I think is going to happen, though, is going to be fatigue on the side of Seattle instead, and that will bode very well for the Dallas offense.
Mike Thomas.
Yeah, I also went Dallas. They're going to likely score points here, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, and have a nice lead going into. It's going to be a field goal. But I'm not worried about this Dallas game at all. I just don't think Seattle's all that good.
Which is weird because like Jackson Smith and Jigba's coming on, DK's still there, Lockett's still doing stuff. Carbonnet, whatever his name is decent. Carbonara is great. No, he's fine. It's Carbonara. But like it's Geno. I just don't believe in Geno. I don't have faith in him as a quarterback. Like
comeback player of the year, bro.
I don't give a fuck about that. That don't matter.
It's like AP MVP. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't.
Damn it! Not again.
Matter. Indianapolis at Tennessee. This game on the Yahoo app is like almost 50-50. I went Colts here. I believe in the Minshew mania, and Tennessee, they have their warts. They did to the head coach of Tennessee, Vrabel, but something's missing on that.
Oh,
team,
they re-sign him or
can't
something?
figure it out. No, there was rumors floating around that he was going to be gone at the end of the year, and the owner during their bye had a press conference and was like, "No, we're committed. We're going to keep moving forward. Vrabel, we're not going to trade him." That's the thing is if New England opens up, I know we've said this on the pod before. If New England opens up, I think it's going to be a hard time for him to say no to that.
I love that storyline. I fucking
Kraft
love that.
knows him, loves him, going in and like you don't want to. I mean, maybe you do now, but you probably don't want to go fill the Bill Belichick role right after Bill Belichick. But if anyone's like capable of doing it and having that intensity, why not Vrabel? He kind of fits that culture. Seems a little less dickish. It could be a good fit, is what I'm saying. But anyway, I took the Colts. Mike Thomas, who you got in this game?
I had to pick up and start Gardner Minshew in fantasy, apparently against Craig, if that's the league that we're playing each other. So he's going to tank. So I'm going to pick Tennessee.
I like the Colts in this one, and I'm checking to see he did start Gardner Minshew, who's going to do quite well, but it will be Zach Moss that's going to get the work. And I think everyone's going at him in the other league we're in. And I would like to see who ends up getting him on the waiver wire this Saturday. With the fab budget that we're bidding on, I want to see who gets Zach Moss. David already basically took his bid out because I bid more than he has in fab budget. But I know you're probably going for him too.
I have a lot of issues this week in that league. It's by-mageddon for me in that league.
How high are you willing to go for this man? And Dak Prescott just put it on the line on 4th and goal, but there was a flag.
Okay, good. Kick the field goal. I have the kicker for Dallas, so pretty stoked about that.
That dude, caveat, 23 field goals in a row to start his career, has not missed a field goal.
That's put that on him.
He's missed 2 extra points.
Yeah, but who cares?
Yeah, that doesn't matter. I don't care about that.
He's putting the good puntos down.
Yeah,
and the clutch
I drafted
moments.
Harrison Butker with my last pick in the draft, and like 2 weeks in, saw this dude putting up points, and I was like, bye, Harrison.
Yeah.
And I picked up Aubrey, and he has outpointed Butker. So I feel good about that. I was like, that's my move.
It's just impressive not to miss, and he's a rookie.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a rookie, and his first sport was soccer.
Guy. Yeah, soccer guy, and he was like at a desk last year.
I might have just jinxed him. He might miss this field goal.
The guy I'm going up against has his starting running backs are Kenneth Walker and Jonathan Taylor. He's got T. Higgins. He just picked up Kenny Pickett to start this week.
No,
which is like not a great thing, but not a bad thing.
Mike took Jonathan Taylor with his first pick in our league. How do you feel about that?
For a minute, he probably felt good.
I didn't like it in the moment. I've liked it for a couple of weeks, and that's it.
That's it. You got what? 3 good weeks for the whole season.
He might be back. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of New England, LA Chargers at the New England Patriots. I think the Chargers win here despite the ineptitude of their head coach, who is, I read a report that he is all but fired. They just don't want to fire him in season. And I get it. I totally get it. So I'm going to take the Chargers here because I think that they just have significantly more talent than the Patriots. And if the Giants can beat the Patriots, the Chargers can beat the Patriots. So that's where I'm going. Craig Brooks, who do you got in this game?
I'm going to steal some more action. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go against the grain. I gotta pick a couple upsets, and I've done this before. It's worked. Other times it hasn't. I'm going to go with the better coach.
It's typically how things go, yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So I have to go with the better coach, Belichick. I am hearing that we might see Malik Cunningham starting. We are not going to see Mac Jones, is what I'm hearing. These are the things.
Zappy.
I think they're going to skip over Zappy on this one because I think there's a possibility. So I think the Chargers have all the talent in the world, but can't get it together. Right. And I think we're just going to keep seeing that over and over again. And maybe, I'm okay to be wrong. I had the 14 correct picks. I'm churning back. I got to stick with what got me there, which is taking some weird ones.
Mike Thomas.
I will take the Chargers to win this game. New England is so bad. They don't have any solutions on offense, and I don't know what they could possibly have as a solution on offense. It'll look better this week,
for sure. Offense, probably.
But yeah, it's different. It's not like there's just a coordinator that needs to go. It's everybody needs to go.
Yeah, it's clean house time.
Yeah, so I'll take the Chargers.
Lions at Saints. Give me Detroit. They got mollywopped on Thanksgiving. It was not close. It was not even enjoyable. We kind of went into that game and we were like, oh, it's so great. This is going to be a competitive game. It wasn't.
Same old Lions. They did it up. They were like, you know what? People were so excited for our first Thanksgiving success in decades. Let's show them what we used to be. Let's show them how shitty the Detroit Lions
nostalgia
can be when 27 million people are watching, or whatever the number is. It's probably more than that on Thanksgiving, but so disappointing. Unfortunately, have to go with them because the Saints are bad.
How bad was that Jack Harlow halftime show too?
That was terrible.
I skipped it. It was on, but I was like doing stuff with the family and everything, and I just heard it was bad. What was bad about it? Like he didn't sound good. It was everything.
Well, he sounded like Jack Harlow, so like that was fine.
Sure.
But he was basically like, so for the first like 45 seconds to a minute, there was just a dude behind him, like rapping along with him in a blue hat. And there was like no explanation as to who that person was. So we were like, okay. And then he came out of basically this inflatable pool tube as well. Not a great look. There was like a little bit of smoke, and then he walked around on a tarp for like 10 yards, and then it was over.
Interesting. Why was he on a tarp? Was it raining?
It was not, and it's an indoor stadium. So like they just laid a tarp out that matched the inflatable pool tube behind him.
Sucks.
And they were like, art.
He also brought zero energy.
He was very low energy.
It was just,
I'm
going to sit here and
he was like,
mumble.
This game's not over. This game's not over. It was super over. It was, everyone could have left. Mike, who you taking in this game?
I'm going to take the Jack Harlows.
Give me the Detroit Jack Harlows.
No, I'll take Detroit. They've got to win, right? Maybe they'll get 2 turnovers from Goff and have a chance to win.
He had a regression week or 2 where he's turned the ball over, but he's shown what he can be through week 14 or no.
Jamarcus Russell showed 12. That he could be a quarterback too. I just want you to remember that.
That did happen.
Atlanta at the Jets. Tim Boyle, Jets quarterback. I'm going to pull something up here, so I'm going to throw it to Craig Brooks first because this is your division rival. They have a 5% chance.
T-S, Jets.
I hate everything you just said.
Big upset coming here. They're going to beat the Falcons by 12 points.
12 points?
You said that.
You on drugs? What's going on? Mike Thomas, who are you taking in this game?
He wants
Atlanta is so bad. Atlanta is not good.
How dare you talk about that division leader? How dare you? I believe they are first in their division.
The Jets are at home.
First in their division.
Jets are at home.
Jets are,
they got my son's favorite player, Sauce
Aaron Rodgers practiced this week.
Right. There's a lot of hopium being drummed up over there.
No. I hate
plays...
Atlanta. I'm taking New York. I don't think they're going to win, but I'm going to take them.
That sucks, though, because I need some back on you. That's a bummer.
Yeah, but also no.
That was that weird moment where it's like, I want to be right, so he's agreeing with me. That feels good, but this does not help my cause. That feels bad.
It's a little give, little take. So I just really quickly, the New York Jets quarterback named Timothy Boyle. Just want to get some thoughts from you guys.
His possible longest throw, unfortunately, 54 yards. Can't quite get it the 55th yard.
That was electric. That return was fun. Awesome.
So fun to watch. After how badly, Mike, did you watch the Black Friday game?
No, I was hanging Christmas lights all day.
Fair. The play now has a name, Hail Mary or whatever. You probably heard that.
Yeah.
By the end of the game, they had that.
But what happened right before it, the energy was like the air was taken out of the balloon. Tua had just thrown a pick 6. They really weren't getting it right. And it was just like, oh, fuck. Is this where the wheels fall off? And then Holland catches that and makes very athletic maneuvers to get all the way. And it's like erased all the negativity. I was at like a peak going into halftime. And then they did play better in the second half. He protected the ball a little better. So that was a very emotional couple of minutes.
You're talking to somebody who knows all too well about a 99-yard pick 6 going into halftime with the Steelers and Cardinals in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yes.
Might be a good segue.
Feels good.
It might be, but we're going to talk about Tim Boyle first.
Son of a
bitch.
Damn it.
I want to just want to see what you guys think. So Tim Boyle was played 3 years for UConn.
Heard about him.
The Huskies.
They play basketball.
That was my favorite go-to team in NCAA.
Really? Well, you probably played as Tim Boyle. I want you to guess how many touchdowns Tim Boyle threw for in college. I'm going to start with you, Mike.
Did he play all 3 years?
He played all 3 years. He played 5 games his freshman year. He played 9 games his sophomore year. He played 5 games his junior year. 19 games.
Oh no!
How many
they were
touchdown
running
passes?
I liked them because it was always run heavy. I thought at least the back in the like 04, 05 when that game was actually being made.
That game was
It's
great.
coming
10?
back, baby. It's coming
10?
back. Craig, what is your guess?
He's asking, so it feels like it's got to be 10 is kind of low, but not though.
10's very low. I was going to say
for
15
for 19 games, right? Because think of like how many touchdowns does Kenny Pickett have this year, right? He doesn't average 2 a game. He doesn't have 2 a game.
Doesn't average 1 a game.
That's what I'm saying, and they won. I wonder what his average
How
is.
dare you, sir?
Probably like 0.7. Pat wouldn't ask if it isn't way higher or way lower, I would think. So I want to Price is Right you. Is it closest to that's going to win, obviously, the prize?
Kenny Pickett
we'll do
6
closest to.
touchdown passes. 6.
For the whole year. He's at average
For the whole year.
0.5. See, that's what I'm saying. This shit's possible. I'm going to go 9. I'm going to go 9. I'm going to 1 under him to try to take the under. He can have any higher number.
That's outrageous. You should have taken the over.
Are correct with the under. He threw 1 touchdown.
I knew the number was going to be stupid
1.
low.
So with that, how many interceptions do you think he threw in those 19 games? 1 touchdown pass. Is he a 1-to-1 guy? A 1-to-4 guy? Is he like what? What do you think in passing interceptions? Craig, we're gonna have you lead off this time. How many interceptions do you think he threw?
You had to.
I'm taking the over.
Of course he is. You have to do that, which means I can win this by default. Bullshit. Now I want to try to get it. Dead money, right? He played 19 games.
So I'll give you this. It is not an obscenely high. Like he didn't throw like 27 picks.
Oh,
it's not. It's not a gross. Like he threw 40 interceptions. Like no, it's not anything like that. But it is a high number, especially considering he only threw 1 touchdown pass.
I'm gonna go 6.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, I will take the over and go 7.
Fuck.
He threw 13 interceptions in 19 games.
See,
1 touchdown pass, which was in his sophomore year.
Damn it.
It was in his sophomore year. I said 27. That's
no, I know,
double.
but you talked me off doing what I was going to do, which is half of 19. Would I have been closer than him? No, he still would have taken 1 above me.
He still would have taken the over, so it wouldn't have mattered. And just to cap it all off, what do you think his highest year was by yards thrown? Like how many yards do you think was his highest in college? Game? No, in the season. What do you think like his season total was for yards?
It's going to be real bad.
Highest one. Give me the highest number you can think of.
1,000.
That you think it falls in.
1,000.
Who wants to go? You want to go 1,000?
Yeah.
Mike, what are you doing?
I'm not going to take the under directly. I'm going to go with the first number that popped into my head and go 650.
Oh. He threw his freshman year for 621 yards. Every year after was significantly worse.
What do you?
That was when he played the least amount of games.
Tim
Correct. 5 games. Oh, he played 5 his junior year as well. But yes, he played 5 games as a freshman.
9.
Threw for 621 yards. 9 games as a sophomore. Threw for 335 yards.
He didn't play all them games, is obvious.
I mean, even still.
I don't think he was their starter from these statistics.
Right, but he's now starting for an NFL franchise.
You're trying to get us to change our pick.
I'm not trying to get.
He's going to hand it to Breece Hall 32 times.
He is not going to do that. They have proven that they are not smart enough to utilize him and Dalvin inappropriately.
They should do that. Oh my God, Dalvin's irrelevant. Dalvin is a ghost.
Irrelevant. Yeah, that's no, it's bad. I'm taking the Falcons. By the way, I have no faith in this Jets team. I think Salah's going to get fired this year. I really do.
Nope. I think everyone's on a free Aaron pass. I think so.
I think you have to get rid of Nathaniel Hackett. He does not know how to call an offense in the NFL.
I think he's on a free pass. I think
Is
that
bad.
they're going to keep Aaron's people to see if Aaron
so
can take
stupid,
him there.
Though. It's he's not going to be able to. He's 41, coming off of an Achilles blowout.
No, he's just turned 40, I think.
He'll be 41 right next year when
he's playing in December. He's gonna put duct tape on his knee and go out there and play just to prove you wrong, Pat.
He might.
I can prove me wrong, man. Do it.
They need a better line. We know that. If they don't improve that, it never gets better. But I would predict against you that I think they might keep those people because it's the more hopeful thing to do. It actually has the max hope.
They should all be fired.
Correct.
They should all be fired.
1,000%.
But I do not think that they will be, again, because of the Aaron Rodgers effect, especially Hackett. Like, Hackett could end up the head coach if they moved on from Saleh because Aaron likes him. And then as soon as Aaron's like, bye, everyone, they're like, cool, we're going to go with someone that's not you gold member freak. Moving right along, talking about the Cardinals and the Steelers, we have a rematch of Super Bowl, whatever the fuck. Cardinals,
one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time.
Yeah, it wasn't, though. I mean, the Giants beating the undefeated Patriots was definitely the best Super Bowl of all time.
I didn't say the best.
You said one. It was
one of the greatest.
It was a fun one.
Was
that the tippy toe San Antonio?
I'm upset. I'm upset about you taking a ring away from Larry. So, like, I'm not.
There are plenty of Pittsburgh people who are also upset that Larry didn't get a ring. So,
that's because he played at Pitt, right?
He's a Pitt legend.
Yeah.
Well, he's one of the great. He will go Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure. If he's not already,
first ballot, unequivocally.
He is a very common. You go to around Pittsburgh and say, "Who's your favorite non-Steeler player?" And Larry Fitz will be number one.
That's awesome.
Love Larry. Always love Larry. I'm going Steelers here. Give me the Steelers. Arizona has been fun their first couple weeks back, but they are not prepared for this defense. This defense is fucking gross. So give me Pittsburgh. Mike Thomas, take the Arizona.
I was going to say Arizona is so bad that this would be a week where I would take Pittsburgh, but it's not going to be. I'm going to take Arizona.
Craig Brooks, who you taking?
I've got the Steelers. DK with another tutty. In your face, Mike Thomas. In your face. No, there's laundry on the field. Fuck.
How is it still the first half?
Here's what happened. A lot of penalties. Oh, my God, it might be on the defense. Decline that shit. That's a tutty. Sorry, I'm taking the Steelers and hoping that Freiermuth continues his success. I no longer have him in fantasy, but I was very bullish on him and talked about it a lot earlier this year, and I would like to be validated.
I also talked about him, and I got beat out for him on the waiver wire last week. Thanks, Dallas Goedert. Where's Zach Ertz going to go? I think he's going back to Philly, which is going to fuck Dallas Goedert for me, but whatever.
Oh, yeah, they cut him today, right?
Ertz asked for his release to go to a contender.
Asked for it.
Yeah, they obliged, and he is now going to sign with a contender. I think he's going to Philly. But
do you make that call to the Arizona front office if you are hoping that a contender comes to you, or do you think he had somebody lined up?
I think because he started with Philly, I think that, and like he left very amicably. I think that someone in the front office was like, "Hey, man, if you were just to like get released,
did he get that other back?" He was on the 17 Super Bowl team or no? Yes, he was, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
he got that. I believe he got that, and then they traded him that offseason.
See, that could even be good just for another guy from that winning team. They have a few, but others in the room, that could be good. I wonder. I don't know. I didn't. I read it as a headline and didn't kind of process that he would even move to another team, because there are going to be a few teams that probably pull some people off the couch, so to speak, in the last couple of weeks going into playoffs, or at least it's happened the last couple of years.
Yeah, just to, give guys a little bit of rest, rotate some dudes in, like, especially if you're locked in, like Philly's not going to miss the playoffs unless they go on like an unprecedented losing streak.
No, they're not going to.
I just don't see that.
They're good.
So,
they're good.
So I don't see why they wouldn't bring someone like that in, especially for the culture, and like he's already known in the locker room, another pass catcher. Very interesting stuff. You know what? I lied. Go to Kansas City. Go against the Eagles. Give Patty Mahomes someone else to throw.
You know what? That actually
another tight end though.
But they
Who
could
cares?
run a nice
Somebody to catch the ball.
a nice 2 tight end set with better hands. But yeah, they do. They desperately need wide receiver assistance.
They need a wide receiver real bad.
Check
Miami versus Washington. I watched the first game of in-season Hard Knocks. Mike McDaniel is fucking hilarious. I have always liked his like press conferences and stuff. Unbridled access to him now is my favorite thing.
It's fun.
I need more of this. He is hilarious. Hilarious.
I'm enjoying it.
Anyway,
You didn't get the
I'm
second
taking the
episode in
Dolphins.
yet?
I did not get the second episode in. It has been a hectic work week
Fair.
of awful. So, but yeah, I will probably watch it tomorrow morning. I like to do my watching in the morning when the phones are quiet, and then in the afternoon I'm like, well, I'm screwed. But I'm going to take Miami here. Washington is terrible. Sam Howell will throw for 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So
From your mouth.
Yeah, I mean,
to the football guys, baby.
He is literally a gunslinger in every sense of the word. I respect the shit out of it, but like Washington, not in a good spot. Give me Miami here all day. Mike Thomas, who are you taking in this game?
I was really surprised to see Sam Howell up on the leaderboard this year in terms of passing yards. He's like, what,
Stud.
one?
He might be
number
first
one
right
in the
now.
season?
Yeah, at the moment.
With nobody to throw. He's basically throwing to everybody except for McLaurin.
He's hitting McLaurin.
Yeah.
He's hitting Doxson. Curtis Samuel's back in now, and not McBride. Shit, that's on Arizona. The tight end's getting some work too.
Yeah, none of that's going to matter. Miami's going to crush him.
I hope you're right as well.
Craig Brooks.
Yeah, I mean, I got to take my guys. I don't believe in what Mike Thomas does. This reverse bad juju nonsense that no real fan would ever do, but he does it every time. Picks against his people. I pick for my people. I pick for the Miami Dolphins, and
Picks for his crew.
am hopeful fantasy wise that they do well because I'm stacking them in the daily, and I have Mostert. I have the Miami D and the Miami kicker in all the leagues that I'm in. So giddy up.
Yeah, my one concern is Achane is supposed to be back this week, which concerns me with the Mostert. I have him in fantasy, and I just want
Dude,
here's
the
giving
thing.
that dude the ball.
That shouldn't concern you. They were ripping together, and points were happening, and things were going.
They were starting to rip more with Achane than they were with
That's
Mostert,
true.
and then Achane got hurt, and I was like, no, because I want you to succeed, but also yes, because I want to win. Because my other main running back is Joe Mixon, and he's fucked. They're going to stack the box on Cincinnati all season long.
Yeah, they are.
He is not going to get dick moving forward.
It's over.
It's bad. It's a bad situation. I have not good. And Austin Eckler's shitting the bed constantly. So super good for me in fantasy right now. I love it.
He fell off a cliff.
He did. It's so bad, and I'm upset.
How old is he?
29. I think he's 29.
Look at him all smug and shit. Told you. Dead.
He's also got the most inept head coach in all of football because Josh McDaniels was already fired.
I think that's true.
I know it's true.
Eckler's only 28.
Oh, so he's still got a year left in those legs.
This was supposed to be it.
Denver at Houston. Denver ripping a 5-game win streak. But the Texans, very alluring. CJ Stroud coming out this week that both former GM of the Raiders and Frank Reich apparently were like huge CJ Stroud fans, and that just sounds like a lot of revisionist history bullshit to me. But
Sourpuss coming.
It's real easy at this point in the season to be like, that MVP candidate is a rookie. We wanted him, especially from the unemployment line. It's like, yeah, real sure you did. Craig Brooks, who are you taking in this game?
I gotta again go with the hottest hand. Them and the Eagles are the 2 hottest teams in the league for most wins in a row. Broncos, baby. Let's ride.
Let's ride. Mike Thomas, who are you taking?
I hate this game. Denver's playing really well. Do they have 6 in a row for them? If they were at home, I would take them no problem, but they're at Houston. Houston can play good. They can play bad. Denver can get 70 dropped on them, apparently. That's a thing that
true.
can happen.
It definitely happens.
When you're the Dolphinos.
I've seen it.
What did Craig take?
He took
The Broncos.
The Broncos.
I'll play defense.
Yep, smart.
Go with the defense and take Denver.
Oh, you fucker. You see what he's doing? You see what he's doing?
I do. I love it.
He's tracking my picks to try to stay ahead.
I am going to take Houston here. Love the defense. Love the momentum. CJ Stroud is a beast. I'm sure everyone wishes that they could have drafted CJ Stroud now. But quick pivot. If Tyreek breaks the receiving record held by Calvin Johnson this year, how's that going to make you feel, Craig?
It's going to make me feel good. It's going to make me feel real good. I love Calvin Johnson.
Love Calvin.
Yeah, I do. And I will continue to. I will continue to love him. He's always going to be in that pantheon I have of my favorite players I like to follow, that I have their cards and autographs and stuff. But for it to be a guy that's in the uniform of the team that I really like and have committed to is another level. So it would be really great. I only have one Tyreek rookie card. I need to work on some Siggies and stuff. So it would be fantastic. I don't want to get
dope Waddle one time, didn't I? Don't you?
I have that up in the office. That one's up. Waddle? I mean, that's a great one. That's a Waddle patch auto. I have Nothing Hill in the Dolphin gear, so I'd want it from 22 or 23, which makes it more affordable. Right. I just got to find it. You know what I mean? I haven't done the research, but I'd be very hyped. It would be a milestone kind of thing. I mean, again, do I want them to go deep in the playoffs and win a Super Bowl? Absolutely. That's really hard this year. I hope to be true, but you guys, among other friends too, have instilled a little bit more confidence in that we might have a wider window than I was thinking. The team with a great coach, with Tua finding himself, Tyreek, there's other players. It's not just Tyreek, but
that cut was gross.
Which one?
The one on his tatted arm.
Oh, he just had a chasm in his arm.
I know. That wasn't on episode 2. Maybe that'll be on the next episode.
Fuck that tatty right up.
Yeah, it's definitely going.
That tattoo is screwed.
They got to do the crazy stitches because he had to get double patched up.
Yeah, it was bad. Carolina at Tampa, and I think this game is going to be more interesting than apparently everyone on Yahoo Pick'em it does. Panthers losing a head coach, always little ammunition, little fire in the tank, and it's a divisional game. Divisional games are always a toss-up. With that being said, I still took the Buccaneers because the Panthers don't have anyone. They don't have any pieces. It is, in my opinion, after firing Frank Reich, the least desirable head coaching position in the NFL.
That's right.
You have a quarterback who might be good. He might be. You're not sure. Mike Thomas just shook his head no.
I told you Sourpuss is coming out.
But you don't have any weapons, literally none. Like Chuba Hubbard is your best
they gave
running
him away.
back on this team.
They gave away their weapons.
Yeah, they gave everything, but that's exactly it. You gave away your weapons. You traded the future for Bryce Young, thinking that he was going to come in and do something positive.
But it was the other guy.
He's done nothing positive.
It was the other guy.
And yeah, exactly. CJ Stroud was the guy taken next, and you fucked that up. And not to mention, like, you were going to have the number 1 pick this year. You were going to have the number 1 pick this year.
Anymore.
And you could have taken a litany of dudes that would help, an offensive tackle, a quarterback if you didn't take Bryce.
It's the impatient
Marvin Harrison
owner.
Jones Jr.
He's a very impatient owner, and he's pushing that to his front office. He's pushing that to the coaching. That is never going to work in not just this league. I don't think it would work in any league. It wouldn't matter.
No.
He's not letting the process happen from the people that are very good at it. He's bringing his he's very successful in business, obviously. You can't amass that kind of wealth if you don't do some shit correct. But that it is not working. He didn't do one of the smarter things from business is like delegating properly, right? Like trust somebody, get you a John Lynch, get you somebody in the front office, a John Elway. There's plenty of former players and shit that you could probably do something or bring in a good executive and start the machine and then go fucking be on your yacht. You know what I mean? Why you got to be doing weekly meetings with the coach? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Did you hear about that? He was doing weeklies with Frank Reich that were like about
he was calling plays on the sideline.
That's what I mean.
Too.
It was about the game plan. It's different if they were like hanging out for lunch, talking cool about what they're building over the next 4 years. That would be like an epic weekly meeting. But like, let's go over the game plan. Like, what are you doing, bro? I don't know how you made it. I don't know how he made his money, but go back to that kind of narrative there.
Not to mention Frank Reich should have taken the year off.
Yes.
I think after Indy, he should have taken the year off.
But now he's historic. Never happened before. The head coach got fired in consecutive years.
Made history.
I heard that on the Rodeo. Like,
that's true. That's true.
History, baby.
It's just a bad situation. Anyway, Buccaneers all day for me. Mike Thomas, who you got in this game?
Yeah, I'll summarize that by Carolina sucks. Let's take Tampa to win.
I will be at this game.
Craig Brooks, do you concur?
I will be at the game with Jason.
You will not be having a good time.
I mean, I hope it'll be just fun to watch.
It'll be fun. I enjoy going to the football games.
I think it'll be fun. There's a small shred of a chance of it being competitive. I'm taking the Bucs, but there's like that 10% chance that what you said earlier comes true. Like the transition weeks, people play hard. We see a Bryce Young 3-tutty, and all of a sudden the Bucs have to like squeak it out. But I believe in Baker in those moments, so he could probably win one if it's like 24-21 or something like that.
Yeah, the weird thing about taking Bryce to me is just when you have to sub him off the field to run a QB sneak because you're like, oh, he's too small. That's not a good situation. Like, that's the dude you want to build your franchise around, and you're like, but we're not going to let you run
there's
QB
another
sneaks,
reason.
okay? We're going to sub in Andy
You
Dalton.
don't know if there wasn't another reason. Maybe he had a real.
We're going to red
he had
rifle
a big
this
fart
QB
that
sneak.
he didn't want to let out at the bottom of the pile.
It happened so many times.
Andy Dalton's not.
Browns at Rams. Craig Brooks, who are you taking in this game?
I am taking the Rams. Sean McVay, Staffy. That guy Williams? Kyron Williams, is that his name? Like, he is back, and I fucked that up. I was going to put him in all my lineups, and then I took him out of my daily fantasy lineups. I had him in my couple that I was doing, and I was like, this feels right. Then I yipped myself of like, oh, first week back. Then he got like 3 tutties or something and just shredded. So it's the Rams.
Mike Thomas.
The Browns might be starting Joe Flacco.
Elite quarterback Joe Flacco.
Dude's a winner.
I'll take the Rams.
I'm also taking the Rams. I don't know why they don't start not DTR, the dude that they literally started and won games with earlier in the season. Did he get a concussion?
Yeah, he's in the concussion
DTR
protocol.
got hit bad and knocked out.
Well, no, not DTR.
Oh, PJ Walker, he's terrible now.
That one, PJ Walker.
He got worse.
I mean, he won games for them earlier in the season.
But like,
is he better than Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco's a fucking stud, bro. He won the Super Bowl MVP in 2013 by throwing 3 touchdowns. Okay? So that was 10 fucking years ago. He's great.
That was 10 fucking years ago. 10 years ago, right around the time Craig Brooks was like, I don't want to have kids. I don't want to get married. I want to be living in an apartment for the rest of my life. I can't wait to do trivia forever and ever, no matter what.
And beer pong. Which I was quite good at. I was talking about Flacco yesterday at lunch with David, where he was trying to.
That's a shame. You should not waste your time like that.
He was good back then. He was like not to be confused with a Dilfer or a Brad Johnson. He like made shit happen that season.
He was really good at throwing deep Hail Mary bombs and getting bailed out by the refs with pass interference calls. He was elite at that.
That's a skill. Are we winning games or not?
Pretty good at that. That's called the Carson Wentz now. Carson Wentz did that a lot. Moving right along to some games that are actually going to be sort of kind of fun to talk about. San Francisco at Philly. The animosity in this game. Flexed? It should have been flexed. I have no idea. The rematch of the NFC Championship game. The animosity in this game is palpable. 49ers talked a lot of shit. Eagles are talking a lot of shit. I am very excited to see what happens in this game. I want this game to desperately be Sunday Night Football. It won't be, but I want
does it Monday?
I'm taking
Monday
the
doesn't have flexible moments?
Monday
no, it's only Sunday. No, they don't
Mondays
flex to Monday.
That was a new thing this year. They can flex Monday if they want.
Yeah, because I heard
new
that
thing. Okay.
the Chiefs Patriots just got pulled
Was flexed
from Monday.
from a Monday night to Sunday afternoon because the Eagles
is
something
going
else
in.
is going.
Yeah, I just heard that today though.
Mhm.
But why didn't?
Okay.
You're making a good point, Pat. Why are we getting Bengals? Well, Jags are good. I forgot. They're not going to move a good team.
But the Bengals aren't.
I know, but like maybe there's a cutoff of when they have to flex by.
Eagles Seahawks is the game that was flexed.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Even still, as soon as Burrow goes down, flex that game out.
I agree. I also
as soon as he goes down. That was 2 weeks ago.
I'm looking at the coverage map, and the poor bastards in Ohio and in the LA area are the only ones in the country that can't watch this game. You can't tell me a Browns fan would rather watch Cleveland at Los Angeles than this game.
This game's going to be awesome.
Joe Flacco versus Matt Stafford.
That is a 10-year ago matchup for the
2013
for the ages.
And by the way, Joe Flacco also doesn't win that Super Bowl if the lights don't go out. Also, Ray Lewis did kill a guy.
Oh my, just that day, probably.
No, he didn't.
Maybe.
He ended a couple of careers.
He definitely killed a person.
That was with a knife outside of football, I believe.
It was.
Let the record state.
I thought he was a witness to a crime.
A crime he committed with a knife.
He knifed somebody, Mike Thomas. I just don't know if that person died or not. Ray Lewis had a case. He had a case. He had like a fucking like Google that. We're not making that up. He had like a 2-year thing.
The opinions of Craig and Pat are those of Craig and Pat alone, and not.
Ray Lewis killed a guy.
Whoa, I'm not saying. Whoa.
Everyone on the internet will back me
The opinions
up.
of Pat are Pat's and Pat's alone. I do not agree with what he's saying. Ray Lewis did not kill anybody. I said he knifed somebody.
2 men were stabbed dead. Ray Lewis was charged with double murder. Those charges were soon dropped. Lewis, after spending 2 weeks in jail,
did not kill those people.
He fucking killed those guys.
God.
Mystery still surrounds Ray Lewis's cream suit from 2000 Super Bowl in Atlanta. You know, the suit that he stabbed those 2 guys in. That's a USA Today article.
That's a very respected publication.
Yeah. Ray Lewis definitely killed a guy. Or 2 guys, apparently. Anyway. Yeah, very excited for this game. I think we're going to really see what Brock Purdy is this week because he's going to get smacked around a little bit. I think playing Philly, you're going to get hit in the mouth a couple times. So I'm excited to see what happens. I hope for full health on both sides so that we can just see the high-flying, hard-hitting game we deserve. But I'm taking San Fran. Mike Thomas, who are you taking?
I just don't believe in Philadelphia this year. I've watched their games. I don't know. Everybody else is all on board with them right now because of their record. I just can't do it. So even though San Francisco had that 3-game losing streak, I think San Francisco is the better team. It's really hard to pick against Philadelphia at home, but I'm going to.
I'm going to take that. Doodle, guys. I'm in there too, which means, but I kind of want to switch it now to steal one.
I want to do switchies.
Philly at home's the safe pick.
But I went with the Niners. I'm looking. I have it up so I don't like say something and then not feel like I didn't do the thing I said. So I always look at it to see that I picked the right thing. I got the Niners in there, and I absolutely think at full health they are the better team. So I think I agree with you guys more than I would like about this. So yeah, it's got to be the Niners for me because as far as I know, C-Mac, Debo, Trent Williams, they're all playing. And I do not
all playing. And Debo talked a lot of shit.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He's the type of guy that he looks like he's the type of guy that correctly backs that up. If that's a thing, he looks that way. DK Metcalf is having himself a game. Okay, he's having himself a game. So I don't know.
Do you guys hear about him learning sign language to talk shit and the refs don't know?
I didn't know that, but I love that.
He literally, I saw a clip and he's admitted to it in interviews. He's like, yeah, I take sign language classes so that I can like dunk on people without my words. and like I forget what game it was, but he scored a touchdown, and he literally signed like number 21. That's my baby, or like I'm his daddy, or something like that. And I was like, oh my god, you are
That is
so
next
cool.
level shit. He's also still jacked, and I don't know if either of you guys saw it. It's a little upsetting that this happened because it was Tyreek.
Just
Today,
candy?
he
eats
had the
candy,
fastest run in the all of NFL season. He ran for 22.8 miles per hour on that breakaway tutty. They put up a
speeding
prime
in a school
stat
zone.
that he is just like burning right now. So it was Tyreek that was the fastest play of the season. The Miami Dolphins had the top 5. Now he's in there.
5, right?
He's
DK,
a fucking monster.
And he's
huge. He's jacked.
huge.
My dad still talks about it, and this one I don't mind when he talks about it because he's accurate. He brings
Facebook?
up. I do mind.
Did he add
I
DK
do
on
mind
Facebook?
when my father talks about Facebook. I don't like that. But he will constantly bring up the play where DK ran down the corner on that interception.
Dumb. It was
Never
so
quit.
dumb.
Tackled him. That like is a moment in time for my father, and I support that one. I support. He tells a lot of other terrible, dumb stories. I think that one is a fine one to return to.
Oh my god!
Throw to DK
Amazing.
again. Oh my god! Hurt Mike
Lord.
Thomas. Hurt him.
3 tutties.
No.
Oh, fuck Gino.
Moving on. Chiefs, Green Bay. Green Bay showed something. Oh, a Gino Rushy. Boo. Nobody wanted that. Chiefs,
There's a flag.
Packers. Packers showed some life last week, which was kind of cool. I don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes. That's really all I have to say about that. Craig Brooks.
Patrick Mahomes is super fun. Even with this trash team, we can see and be delighted by this dude puts it on dymos, but it's them all day. It's them all day. Got to do it. Got to have the Chiefs. I know the Packers were heating up, but that's got to stop with the Chiefs. They need they had a half get right game last week. They looked pretty good. I think this is where they can like really flex.
Mike Thomas.
Super Bowl 1 revenge game. Let's go KC.
He's taking all my picks, dog.
Super Bowl 1 revenge game. He's allowed
1
to.
and 2.
He's in the lead. So if he does that, there's no way you beat him.
Also, these are the right picks, objectively.
From on a Thursday night, these are the right picks.
This is
Sunday
what's
night.
happen.
We might be saying some different stuff.
DK with 28.
Cincinnati at Jacksonville. There's no way Cincinnati wins this game, right?
I mean,
No, it'd be peak Jacksonville to lose this game.
it's possible.
See, that feels like a Colts thing to me, though, because the Colts had a win in their in, and then they shit the bed against a bad Jacksonville team. This Jacksonville team feels like they lose bad games to decent teams. Without Burrow, Cincinnati's not a decent team. Browning is not a dude.
He at least was it.
I mean, he's definitely a dude.
Well, we don't, Mike. I mean, you can't say that these days. With the you can't. We don't know.
It's true.
We don't know.
You can't say that.
Yeah, you can't
What
run
if
on
he
that.
identifies as a number? You know what
those
I'm
were the
saying?
worst.
He could be just a dash symbol or something. But I think the Jaguars have something going. I think they're building a real situation there. Well coached. You got talent at a lot of spots now. On the defensive side, you got some guys ripping. I think I think it's another Josh Allen, but it's a linebacker Josh Allen who's like exceptional and having a great season.
He's very good.
It just
They took him right after the Giants took Daniel Jones.
Okay.
That was the guy I wanted them to take.
That pick hadn't worked out for you. It's not worked out. It's not worked out, and I don't think it's going to. Much like I don't think it's going to work out for the Bengals for the rest of this season.
Well, we've gotten to the end of our pick'ems. I wanted to just very quickly here get a gauge. What are we thinking about the Buffalo Bills? They are continuing to be the antithesis of what they have been the last 2 years, which is an exciting, very highly competitive football team, excellent defensive team, and they are kind of not doing great. And now I read that there's a warrant out for Von Miller's arrest in Dallas.
He gave himself up earlier.
Okay, so not a great situation.
Nope.
So what the Bills lose Von, and there's all but no hope that this team does anything.
Yeah, that's probably right. They they have a brutal schedule this year too. Like the
Oh, it's not
stretch that
great.
they've besides the bye week, they got Kansas City, Dallas, Los Angeles Chargers, New England. Those are winnable games, and then they end with Miami. So 3 of their last 5 games are against teams that they're really going to struggle with. They've played Philadelphia. They've played Denver in the middle of their hot streak. Uh, they played Cincinnati when Joe Burrow was at his prime for the season
For 2 weeks.
for 2 weeks. They played Jacksonville. They've played Miami. So they beat Miami earlier this year. They stomped on Miami earlier this year. They somehow lost to New England though. So
the week after.
a couple weeks after.
Oh, sorry.
This is a weird team. I feel like the ball is bouncing away from them. Josh Allen is a little turnover prone this season. A lot of seasons, it's amazing how a lot of seasons and a lot of games can come down to just a very small number of plays. And some of those plays go based on certain weird bounces. I just feel like this is one of those years for Buffalo. Last year, it all came up heads for the Vikings on those close games. And this year, I think Buffalo's on the other end of that for a lot of their games. I don't know why they lost to some of the teams that they did. I don't expect them to be a super bad team. They've lost 3 of the last 4. I just don't expect that moving forward for them. I think they're better than what they've been.
So my concern is, and I know we talked about this last pod, but my concern with Buffalo and where they're at is they're showing their age a little bit. They're banged up on defense. You know, Vaughn obviously coming off of the ACL, regardless of accusations and warrants and things like that. Coming off the ACL at his age, not great, especially as an explosive player. That's going to take longer to heal than like normal. It's gonna take him time to be able to get that bounce back, if he gets it back at all. He's on the wrong side of 30 for that. They lost Milano, their inside linebacker, who was all Pro Bowl linebacker. Just paid him. I think he had an Achilles or an ACL. You know, they've lost a lot on the defense, but my issue is the 29 or 30 million dollars they are over the cap next year right now. That's without anybody else's deals vesting for bonuses or anything like that. That money does not exist for them next year, and they have to get under that number and fill those with assumingly inexpensive pieces. You're looking at losing Gabe Davis. You're looking at cutting other offensive pieces around, you know, probably a couple linemen, probably, you know, you can obviously restructure Allen's contract a little bit, whatever, but it feels like, and I've said this to Craig, and I think you were on that pod, I can't remember, but I feel like this Bills window is closing and it'll open again. They'll have an opportunity. Allen is, if he is who we think he is, which is a good to great quarterback, his window is open for a long time to be able to be competitive. But to me, it looks like this team is not going to be competitive within this division for many, many years now. We're talking like 3, 4, 5 years. Craig Brooks, you want to weigh in on this?
We've been talking about it in our text thread. I think that was even today. It comes up regularly, but just like the topic does. And it's a shame because I was rooting for him a couple years ago because Miami wasn't there yet, and I knew it. Now, I would like, as a friend of the division, I mean, I obviously when they were against Miami, I always wanted Miami to win, but Miami wasn't getting it done. So I was like, oh, go Bills. You can get there. You've never really...
Anyone but the Patriots.
Right. You've not got... Exactly. So it's kind of like sad a little bit to see this waste of Allen right now. And I actually don't agree with you that they'll get back and have multiple times and all that, because in the NFL, we think that a lot of times. And Dan Marino sure as shit thought that, right? When he went to that first one as a rookie.
He definitely did.
That's not true, because every year actually should be looked at in a vacuum. We don't do that, by the way. We don't. We take last year and we think we know everything. but it's never the same 53. Never. Literally never the same 53. I don't think ever in history all the same guys come back.
The Bucks. Oh, that was started.
Oh, one time they brought all 53?
Yeah.
They didn't bring all
I think
53
it was
brought
all
all
back.
22. I knew that. But nobody brings it. So, I mean, it even changes factors.
Well, that's never even happened before. That was the only time
Right,
that had ever
which
happened.
changes factors not just on the field, but in the clubhouse. Like, there's just a lot of ways that I think we've seen the peak Bills of this era. We're not going to have an 80s, 90s, 4 times going to the end. They didn't even get to the goddamn AFC Championship. They couldn't get over the hump.
They did not.
I don't believe in Josh Allen like many do. I know he's good. I like even watching the best of him. I think the middle to worst of him is like middle of the pack, not even top 5, top 10. I think the stuff he puts on tape that's not the 80-yard bombs and untouched running touchdowns, it's not great. So I don't know.
It's got decision-making issues for sure. But
I will say the team Buffalo's 6-6 right now.
Right.
But if you look at the stats, and this goes back to my point that like there's been some weird bounces for them this year and just weird games. If you look at their offense and their defense, and I mainly care about points per game, right? Yards are one thing, but I like points per game as the main stat for judging how good an offense or defense is. In points per game, their offense is 5th in the league. They have the top 5 defense in terms of top 5 offense in terms of points per game, and they're 6th in terms of points per game on defense. Does that sound like a 6-6 team?
You wouldn't think so.
It's a really weird season. And I will agree, Pat, with your point. How they move forward is going to depend on the skill of their GM, who I do not know much about.
Brandon Beane.
So, what's that?
It is Beane, and he's been savvy. I've heard him talk a lot on McAfee, but go ahead.
Yeah, he's definitely compiled a great roster. But they went all in to win last year and this year. And they didn't, and they might not make the playoffs this year, even if they have a great team. Which I don't think they have a great team. I just think they have a good team and a better team than their record is. The other half of being a good GM is not just putting players on the field, it's managing their contracts. So there are ways that they can work around their cap issues next year. It could be releasing players, restructuring contracts. The cap is probably going to grow significantly next year. So there's all these things that come into play. So I wouldn't count them out just yet and say their window is going to slam shut, but it's definitely up to the GM to see how it's going to go.
I'm interested. I also like points per game, but like there are games that get weighed, significantly more than others. And the thing that sticks out to me, and we can wrap on this because I know we've actually gone longer than I thought we were going to go. The thing that sticks with me is the loss to New England. What that showed me as a fan of football is that Bill Belichick can scheme against Josh Allen. And if Bill Belichick, who is one of the greatest defensive minds in football, every team does not have a Bill Belichick, but the NFL is the best copycat league in sports. If they know how to stop Josh Allen, that's on tape now. People are going to be able to do it. And the only way that gets prevented is for Josh's ceiling to go up. And I don't know how much more there is for
fantastic.
Him as far as
the issue, I think. He plays that way.
Right.
I'm not saying he talks that way.
He does.
I want to make that clear. I don't think he's...
No quarterbacks talk that way.
But he plays as if he thinks he does it all right. And the problem is he doesn't have enough victories. There's not enough wins in that column of even those individual interactions. I don't just mean wins and losses, but technically this season both apply. Mahomes has done enough. Favre used to do enough where the shit they do gets backed up by we are winning big games in big moments doing big shit. Allen has failed in those moments. And, I like watching the best of him. It's fun, but I just don't think we're seeing much of that. Even in the good games, they're like losing some of them. To Mike's point that there's been some weird bounces this year. Well, the best of the best, Mahomes didn't let that happen. He wills it, right? We see it with Aaron Rodgers when he was in his prime. He wills those victories in those late minutes. pumpkin, Josh Dobbs, wills them to 1-2 victories before he turns by the fourth start. You know what I mean? Like there's a thing you've got to have to reach that peak.
Well, and for me, it's obviously not all of these are in a vacuum, but the dudes never won a game in overtime. They got the ball in against Philly, and they lost that game. You can't lose that game. That you got the ball, put the pressure on them. You guys settled for the field goal. Like Patrick Mahomes doesn't give. Obviously, they get the ball back, but you know what I'm saying when I say Patrick Mahomes doesn't give the ball back. Like you got to go down the field and score 7 because Mahomes is putting it in the end zone. It don't matter. And like I feel like the same thing can be said for Joe Burrow. I feel like the same thing could be said this season for looking at Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, when they need points and they need to move the ball, whether he's running it, whether he's throwing it, whatever. I'd rather have
CJ Stroud right now.
They're getting
Josh
points. Allen. Oh yeah,
he's
CJ
making
Stroud
very
sure.
good
The
decisions.
accuracy is just
right.
deadly.
Yes, Allen can throw further and run better than CJ Stroud, but the decision making is how you stack wins up.
I'm interested. I'm interested to see what happens with the Bills. Obviously, like was mentioned, this is in a vacuum. Next year they could come out and go undefeated, and we're like looking like dummies, and I'm completely okay with that. But this season's version of Josh Allen does not have me convinced. We had him in our quarterback rankings. I believe he was 2nd or 3rd, and I wouldn't put him there now.
That means you guys disagree with me more than you think, because I had him lower than that.
You did have him lower than that. I think I had him 3rd.
I think I had him 5th. If we went back, I'd have to go find that somewhere. And I think he could even be, you could argue he's in the 6, 7, 8 territory. If you really start stacking guys up of who you'd rather have to take you all the way, it's gonna. We just named 5 already.
CJ Stroud has made a massive jump, and I'm excited to be able to do the quarterback rankings in the offseason again for that purpose, because a lot of things have changed. I think, in just going around the league really quick, I think Kyler has kind of cemented himself as like, I'm still here. I'm still competitive. I still play this game.
Still good.
I think, maybe there was a little overhype on Kenny Pickett this year. There was a lot of overhype on Daniel Jones this year. 6 tutties. 6.
He had an albatross around his neck, though.
That's true. 400 yards.
400 yards in the
on
first
offense.
game. I've never been so excited to have a Steelers game with 400 yards of offense. For it to be the first game after Canada got fired, oh my God, I wanted to be there when he saw that.
Aren't they at 7 wins? They have 7 wins, right?
I think so.
Yeah, they're 7-5.
7-4, I think.
7-4.
They're fucking good.
The points, I'm very excited. Very, very happy with where the Steelers offense is. They removed the ball like I think a lot of people thought they would coming into this year, until Matt Canada said, I'm still here.
Well, I'm excited to see what happens. It's going to be a fun last, quarter of the season? Less than that?
Don't say that.
It's true.
I know.
That's why getting up on
I'm getting
it,
emotional. We're getting a very good Thursday night game. That does not happen all the time. It's 28.
It doesn't happen, especially at this point in the year. They're like, we're going to give you guys poop, and
this
you're going
is
to like
this is a fun game. This is the most points. There's a whole fucking quarter left. There's already 50-something points going. Like, this is what we want primetime games. Like, last week, there was a 12-10 fucking duty ball. You know what I mean? Like, it's so...
And how sweet are these Seahawks jerseys?
Oh, I don't like them.
I love them. They're so cool.
Just...
When did they just raid the Detroit locker room?
They're basic.
And steal their jerseys.
What do you like about them?
I love the throwbacks, man. I'm a big throwbacks guy.
So you like the Philly Kelly greens?
Needs more neon.
No, I don't like the Kelly greens. That is, it's like looking at old mustard.
No, dude.
So I'm not a
even
fan
for the Finns.
of
Like,
the
I
Kelly
have one of the
greens.
throwback hats. They just wore the throwbacks. Give me the new, baby. I like the new.
like the Finns
I like
throwbacks,
the new.
too.
It looks fresh.
The Finns throwbacks are dope. I love that your coach bought a size 14 pair of Nikes just to wear them. I love that he was like, I want these shoes. I don't care what size they are. I'm wearing them.
He's got his own style. He wears his capri pants.
My guy, he is literally the guy that marches to the beat of his own drum. Like, he is just like, he's just happy to be there, and I fucking love it.
He deserves it.
All right. Well, Anything else you gentlemen would like to add this fine evening before we wrap our podcast?
Just that I'm very excited that DK Metcalf has another quarter to put some more points on Mike Thomas. He's got 28 already.
Another quarter to do that. That's a lot of points.
And they're going to keep throwing. Amount of points. The score being close this is a fantasy dream. I mean, my daily got blown up because I didn't think this greatness was going to happen. But I got CeeDee Lamb in one league. That's going well. He's got like 15 or 16 already, and I got DK in the other. Let's go.
I got my kicker going, and he's got Dallas's defense going. So
Mike has Dallas's defense against me. I think they had a -1 or something like that.
Yeah, they're at negative. Yeah, I could have started.
Sweet.
I could have started Buffalo's defense this week and outscored.
This is going
Dallas.
Well. Yeah. So this guy's running back situation this week is he's got Miles Sanders, Ezekiel Elliott.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Those are his running backs because his other running backs are Kenneth Walker, Jonathan Taylor, and
hey man, the fantasy gods do this, and they tell you whether it's your time or not. It's not his time. His time's not this. He's not going to go.
His time. And like 4 other players have Q's next to their name, so like he's in a rough spot.
You got to get lucky in that game. I'm in the league that I'm not the league I'm playing Mike, but in the other one that we're in. I'm in a playoff spot, right? And it may stay, it may not, but that's the league I didn't have a pick in the first 3 fucking rounds. I got lucky. Mostert fell to me, right? And he's one of the top 5 fantasy running backs of the league. Nobody touched him, so I think I got him in like the 5th round or something like that. Like I'm getting lucky with guys that grabbing Russell. Nobody wanted Russell. Nobody wanted Russell or Cortland Sutton. And I was just doing a cross fingers like, can these guys fucking figure it out? And I think they have like 7 or 8. They did.
Well, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for hanging out, listening to us. I think this was like our longest pod that we've done. And we started with a little pop culture. So if you like that, great. If not, I'm super sorry. But the off season is coming. So
trying to sprinkle what's coming.
We're gonna have to talk about something, and for my sanity's sake. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I greatly appreciate it. Do us a favor, like, comment, and subscribe on this video on our channel. We are here every single week except for like 2 weeks ago, but like life happened or whatever. So but thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your week. I wish you all the fantasy blessings, and we will see you all back here next time.